Canada's opposition is promising to get to the bottom of whether or not political interference was behind federal prosecutors' decision to stay the charges against Vice-Admiral Mark Norman. Stay with me. Joining us this morning is the Globe and Mail's Laura Stone. We were just chatting. This is a case that's been on the front of all the major newspapers, but it hasn't really caught on with Canadians. They haven't really connected with outrage on this story in the same way that we saw similar things like around SNC, for example.
Yeah, I mean, this is starting to catch on now because of what happened yesterday. I think this had the potential, if it had gone to trial in August, to be very politically explosive for the Liberal government. They did not want this to happen leading up in the months before the federal election. I mean, Justin Trudeau was already facing allegations of political interference in the SNC-Lavalin affair. Mark Norman's lawyer, because they were just simply in pre-trial motions before, she had gone very hard after the government for what she said was obstruction. She said that the federal government wasn't giving the defense the proper documents that were necessary for this case. So it never really got going, Anne-Marie, and that's because it didn't go to trial. However, Mark Norman's lawyer and the prosecution service yesterday said that there was no political interference in the decision to stay these charges.
All right, so regarding the prospect of political interference, then, Conservative Deputy Leader Lisa Raitt saying, quote, "We will use every tool in our toolbox to get to the bottom of the matter." So what could they do to press this case even further?
Well, I mean, there is some political posturing going on here, of course, on the part of the Conservatives. I mean, first of all, they're going to continue to go after the government in question period and by other means. We saw Andrew Scheer, for instance, commenting on this yesterday. But Mark Norman himself has said that he wants to tell his full story. We don't know yet what led to the decision to stay these charges. What the defense presented new information to the Crown. We don't know what that new information was, but we know that Conservatives, from some news reports this morning, that Conservatives may have been involved. Some former Conservatives may have been involved in providing that information to the defense. So it's possible that this will end up being leaked or released by the Conservatives themselves.
Norman's legal team, and we should mention Marie Henein, which is a familiar face. Most people became familiar with her in the Giangomeshi case. They engaged in a fight with the government over sealed documents. They said, as you said, these were material to the case. They should have access to them. They included 36 emails, memos, and analysis reports that involved the Privy Council office and the Prime Minister's office. These are words people in the public are remembering hearing from SNC. So do we have any idea of what those documents could have contained?
Well, this is where the Liberal government was most vulnerable, I would say, in my opinion, because they were fighting this at every turn. Marie Henein had said that she was going to call witnesses from the Prime Minister's office to testify about these documents if the government refused to present them. We know that Andrew Leslie, a Liberal MP who has said he is not going to run again for re-election, was going to potentially testify in Mark Norman's defense. We were going to hear from former cabinet ministers like Scott Bryson. So we don't know the full extent of what was in the documents. And Marie Henein yesterday in her press conference with Mark Norman said they haven't even received all the documents. She said the prosecutors hadn't either. So the fight, they were gearing up for a major fight with the federal government over what was in this documentation.
And now that fight has disappeared.
For now, although, like I said, you know, I do think this is that the Conservatives are going to use this as an example, you know, of further allegations of political interference and incompetence on behalf of the Liberal government, building on that SNC-Lavalin controversy.
It is an interesting story that people are now taking a second glance at. Laura,
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.